So, our lovely YouTube audience, we're back with the video potentially nobody ever asked for if you've been seeing my tweets in the recent days, the recent months, the recent years. Actually, this will probably get uploaded after the Vinland Saga shit. So it'll probably be of a few days ago. I have indeed watched all of You Season 3. I watched the first two seasons all at once, maybe this time last year, maybe a little bit before. As any self-respecting gentleman did, I did watch it for a girl. She's gone, but season 3 came out anyway, so I was like, should I watch it? And I was like, yeah, I'm way too curious about what the fuck season 3 could possibly be. And here we are, after watching season 3, which I think is probably the best season of the show, though I am curious to go back, maybe, and see how the first two seasons stand up. I think season 3 is very good. We're here with chat. We have found one chatter, Mr. Deep Vibes in chat, who has also seen the show and has some level of enjoyment, and also, like me, thinks it's actually pretty good, and not in a memey haha way, but in an actual legitimate way. So this will be mostly a back and forth dialogue between me and him, I assume, as we bloviate about You seasons 1, 2, and probably mostly 3. Anyway, Bacon's going to dip to avoid spoilers. Bacon will never watch this show. Soz, my guys. It's okay, I'm a dip as well. The Vinland portion of the stream is over. All the Vinland boys are getting out. Great to be here as always. Best season, yes. I definitely think. I haven't seen any of the discourse. Actually, I did check. This is going to be all over the place, chat. This is not going to be a structured well review. I did just look up You analysis to see if people had made videos on it, and most of it is just Lamau explained in big bold letters, with like 200,000. Like this show is very popular, from what I understand. But I think most people. I tweeted this. I think most people either think it's like teen bait. Wait, what's his name? Penn Badgley, right? He's very cute. We like him a lot. The girls like him a lot. Teehee, I wish he would stalk me, is kind of the appeal you're going for, or the bad boy kind of meme. Pretty girls in it too, but boys usually don't watch shows just for pretty girls, I would say. Even more than that. But yes, it's, again, it's not exactly, the reputation of the show isn't exactly, much analysis needs to be done. A lot of it is like these meme videos that have been popping up on YouTube for a while now about expert reacts to this, where it's like, I don't think the show is for the experts in therapy or what Joe's actual problem is. Though they do go into that in season 3 a little bit. You see this all the time where it's like real life mobster reacts to The Sopranos to tell you if it's real or not. It's like, I don't think I give a fuck. This seems like an actual character analysis. Behind the screen as a checkmark and everything. It might be a channel. I saw these. The creepiest show I've ever seen seems like the most basic take on the show. Maybe that video is good. These take videos, I haven't watched a take video in forever. They used to be really good. So, there was like one I saw where it was like a vlog girl maybe. Let's see, therapist reviews. It was like a negative take on season 3. It was like season 3 is a clusterfuck or a mess or something. I also forgot that it was a book first. I remember her telling me that. Wink, wink. I can't find this fucking thumbnail now, but it was a blonde girl and it was like season 3 is a mess or something. Or disaster. I can never spell disaster. Yes, this was the thumbnail. She has red hair, in fact. I got it wrong. This is not actually about You, but it was this channel, I'm pretty sure. But I was like, oh, alright, so the one video about it is negative. But anyway, I thought it was pretty good. Go watch My Name, Squid Game, or Kingdom, and we can talk, Mr. R. He's laying down the law. Penn Badgley elevates the show dramatically for sure. Great actor. Yes, I know he was also... I think he literally is, because I watched that Broe DeChanel video about it. He is the gossip girl from Gossip Girl, right? So a lot of girls from my generation that grew up on that show and things like that probably followed him over to this show. Oh, he's the pretty boy from that show. He's the main character in this one. So they watch it. Is it like Breaking Bad or The Sopranos type show, but he's a stalker instead of a murderer? It is a teeny rom-com, crazy the conceit of the show, I'm sure there's a lot of people watching this that might just watch videos I upload and have no concept. The show is about Joe here. He is got problems. This is lightly revealed through episode 1. It's very much the morally, not even morally ambiguous. It's like the Light Yagami. It's not Tony Soprano. It's like Light Yagami or there has to be another example where the bad guy just is the protagonist. So you are weirdly positioned to root for him, even though he is literally a serial killer, and he manipulates and stalks and is gross to women all the time. Season 1 is about his relationship with one girl. He ends up killing her in the end. Season 2 is about his relationship with the second girl. But plot twist, she is also a serial killer. Season 3 is them together trying to raise a child. She ends up dying at the end of season 3. Spoilers for everything. I don't know why you'd click on this video if you weren't expecting that. Also, he has an ex-girlfriend who I don't think he was very stalkerishly to, who he tried to kill but didn't kill, and then the second season girl ended up killing her. Over the top, there's a lot of death. It's definitely like, I don't know. It's nothing like The Sopranos or anything like that. It's not even in the same genre. It's not like an acclaimed TV drama. It's more like a Netflix teeny. It's not teeny at all, though. It's definitely MA. There's no nudity in it. MA is an Australian designation for MA 15+. There's a lot of swearing in it, especially this season. I don't know if I'm just not remembering it as well in the first 2 seasons. It's been like a year. But like there's like that one episode where they open and like fuck is said like 17 times in the first 2 minutes. It's very much, I feel like, especially if you're a dude, you would be like, oh, this is some girly shit that I'm not going to watch. That's kind of the mindset. Like a lot of American TV is showing different types of the anti-hero or villain, like Mr. Robot is always kind of with the hacking. But it's like irredeemable for Joe immediately. He's like, he like just kills innocent people all the time just to get what he wants. He's clearly deranged in his internal monologues where he's talking about he'll do anything to be with the girl, even though he has to manipulate for the girl to even like him. It's not like that. Season 3 is really wacky, dark comedy. It definitely is, at some sense, a dark comedy, which I guess would make it like The Sopranos. That does serious moments very well. It's very modern. It's like extremely modern. Like there is an anti-vaxxer thing in this episode. I thought when Dottie, I now remember Love's mother's name is Dottie, where she burns down her vineyard, I thought they were doing it's the first season's in New York, the second 2 are in LA. Well, it's in a suburb that's in Los Angeles. I don't think California. LA is the city. I don't think they're in LA at all. They're in a suburb near San Francisco, which I think is like, I used to think they were cities right next to each other, but they're not. It doesn't matter. I don't know American geography. I don't give a fuck. Doesn't matter. Why was I bringing that up? They were in LA, and that was important to the point I was saying before that, but I got distracted on a tangent like I always am. When she starts burning shit down, I was like, oh, she just started a forest fire, because I know that's a big thing in like Los Angeles or California in America. It comments on a lot of like modern shit. The whole point of the series, like the conceit of Joe, is that you can find like everything about everybody on the internet by stalking them real subtly. Joe then steps that up to actually stalking them in real life. So yeah, but like it's very modern in a bunch of ways. A lot of woke terms are used intentionally to cringe you out, though sometimes they're not intentionally. Like, people probably don't speak like this. This was a big thing in the normies' reaction to the show where they're like, nobody talks like this. This is so weird. But people like, there's always one girl. There are a lot of tropes in each season. There's always the one girl that's super annoying. Is there one in season 2? I'm trying to think. And she talks in a lot of wokeisms, and it's very much written from the perspective of like a Hollywood writer who's sort of disillusioned with like a Hollywood type culture. Though it is a TV show, not a movie. it's weird. Like, people in dramatic moments will use terms like white knight, and you're like, I don't know about that. Um, there's that outburst Love has about toxic masculinity in season 2, where Joe tries to fight her, like, temporary boyfriend, which is another one where it's like, oh, I don't think people would talk like this. And those are sort of unintentional cringes where you're like, the show is trying to incorporate like that type of modern speak. But I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm not around people like that, and maybe it is legitimately like that in California. I don't know. But there are also times where they drop things like that where it's supposed to be cringy. I don't know. It's hyper modern in that aspect of like, it's very in tune with sort of discussion points of the time. They do reference COVID in this, which is interesting. Not much. The baby gets measles because measles has been popping up in America. That's like a talking point you hear online. So they factor that into the show. And like the one of the parents is an anti-vaxxer who they end up killing. It's a whole thing. There are other things like that where it's like popular events that have recently happened that we reference in some sort of way. Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird way to describe it. I think most of the time it's very aware and meta about it. It certainly is. The show is extremely meta. We have like, Joe has that whole internal monologue about Chekhov's gun where he finds the gun and he's like, oh, if we're going by Chekhov's gun, I have to... It's not intentionally meta. It never breaks the fourth wall, but it's just like, Joe even says in his monologue, does Chekhov's gun happen in real life? But if I leave the gun here, then I've seen every movie, then somebody else will use it on me. So he has to do this whole back and forth thing in his head. It is meta. There's different types of meta, obviously. There's like fourth wall breaking meta of like, Lamau, isn't this story wacky? And just like, sort of like, there's like one little bit of separation that keeps it in the world. You is not a meta show in that sense, but it is a meta show in that sense. The moment I remember having this distinct, we're not talking about any specifics here. We're talking in complete vagaries, which is kind of pointless. But I feel like for like the first few episodes, I kept thinking, like in the middle of the episode, I kept having the thought of like, this show is like ridiculously good. And then it would always get to the cliffhanger, and I feel like I would forget about what I thought was making it great. And I didn't dislike the cliffhangers. The cliffhangers were pretty great. I wanted to like watch immediately every time. But I remember getting a weird feeling of like, man, the moment to moment of this is like really good. And then the cliffhanger would hit and I would like forget it. It was weird. I don't know if anybody can relate to that in any way. That was just a thought I got. Quickly, to bring this up, I did nearly cry when he gave away his son, and I did not expect that at all. I did feel the tears welling up. I did not actually cry, but I realized when I saw the letter who he was leaving the kid with, and it was really cute. That was great. Also, the show is very self-referential. You can clearly see that the writers of the show going into season 3 had like at least refamiliarized themselves with season 1 and 2, because there are a lot of references that I really appreciated to like the first 2 seasons of mentioning characters of old and situations of old, and Joe just making jokes about it generally. Like when he's hiding under the bed, and he references the pegging he was witness to with Peach in season 1 when he was hiding under the bed. I'll point out that this season didn't have that. The first 2 seasons both had one episode that I thought were like really great. Season 1 has the therapy episode where they play with the not the will they, won't they, but they play with the is the dude cheating? Is he not? Is the therapist sleeping with the girlfriend? And they play with it very, very well in that episode, and the way it's structured with the different sessions and the vagaries of like not actually talking about what's actually happening, but everything. I thought that episode was really like incredibly structured, and it was really well done. And then season 2 has the trip episode with 40 and Joe, where they're writing the script and they both get high. That episode's like fantastic. I think that might be the second to last episode, because that's the one where he goes back and at the end he sees that Delilah has been killed and he thinks he did it. But yeah, those 2 episodes, like season 3 doesn't have an equivalent to that where I'm like, this one episode was really good, but I think the consistent quality of it was much better than season 1 and 2. I guess we should talk about specifics now if Deep Vibe wants to talk us in any direction. Season 4 has to be the last season, though, right? If we're just going to go by how the finale have escalated each time, the only thing I can think about is him either being dead or imprisoned. Yeah, that's the only way the show can end. Although technically he did imprison himself already with love. That's very much more metaphorical than what we're talking about. Him going to France, because it seems like season 4 would be set in France. I honestly have no idea. Like, last time it was just like, Lamau, he's doing it again, even though he has a pregnant wife. And then they subverted in the first episode, right? The new girl for the season gets killed in the first episode, at the end of the first episode. It's interesting because the trend of the first 2 seasons was the non-white girl is not the main girl, but like the side girl who you kind of want him to get with more. So then when they started setting up Marianne in season 3, you're like, there's no way they're going to do it again. There's no way they haven't been called out by some bread tuber or some website about being racist for having the white girl be the main love interest and always having the side girl that isn't white. And obviously the twist is that, like, no, the black girl actually is the main love interest this season, besides love. She gets a happy ending. She gets to go off. There is no way he meets her again. It's just like Ellie in this season where they mention her. He mentions her a few times at the beginning, but I was almost certain she was going to pop up in like the last episode as part of a big twist, but she never did. And I don't think she's in France, so she probably won't in season 4 either. Plus, it's been so long that she will look drastically different because she will probably be an adult at this point and not a 14-year-old girl. But that was just like an interesting, they figured it out thing. Fuck, there was a point I was going to lead up to there, but I completely forgot. Let me look at chat to see if Deep Vibes can save us. What was I talking about just now? Fuck. Now I'm lost. Now I'm blanking. Now I can't talk about anything. Let me take a drink. Specifics. Let me think of specifics here. The way they wrapped up all the characters, I think, was largely interesting. They can write them off. Like the fuck, what are their names? The couple that ended up in the cage going on tour and doing TED Talks about the cage meme is like a great resolution for them, that they actually kind of were a good couple in the end, even though they nearly killed each other, and how they call that couples therapy or whatever. That was kind of cute that in the end, like, these two people that you've been built up to like despise, by the end you kind of like, and they have like this redemption arc that involves them shooting each other in wacky ways. The Theo character is alright at the end because there's the fake out of him being dead. I feel like they did that too much. The one, I don't know, this is just a stupid thing. I remember like somebody pointing this out to me like one time, that if you're knocked out for more than like 1 minute, then you like die because your brain can't get oxygen or whatever, unless you're in like a coma or something. And so the show does it a lot where a character will get knocked out when you, like, the cliffhanger was, oh, she just killed Theo by hitting him with the fire extinguisher or whatever. But actually, no, that wasn't even it. It was with the couple that they ended up putting in the cage. I was like, oh, they're dead, they killed them. But no, they're actually alive and they're just in the cage. It was like, kind of weird, but that was besides the point. What was the point? Oh, the father and son seem to be doing all right. Like, he didn't go to jail. The last scene we see of them is just him picking him up from the hospital. What other characters do we have? There's also, I think this is only in season 2 and season 3, but in season 2 there's that scene where Joe goes and gets acupuncture or whatever from the gay friend of Love. None of her friends came back this season either. I guess they were all gay, but the gay dude, where it's like something Joe and clearly the writers think is stupid but actually works, where he like does feel good afterwards and he cries a little bit. And it's kind of like this mysticism shit that isn't like scientific at all, but it actually does work. There's an equivalent to that in season 3 where they all go camping and like let out aggression or whatever. That was a cute little parallel. there were a lot of structure parallels. Like, they go to therapy at the beginning, which is like the therapy scenes in season 1. Again, it was like we were referencing all the You Best hits from season 1 and 2 in season 3. What did you think of the whole adrenaline and poisoning thing with you activating his Death Note mode? It was interesting, because I liked the thing of, like, because we've seen Love Garden a few times, that, like, she was growing this poison or whatever. So was Joe able to break out the whole time, or it was just he was able to break out quicker? Like, when Marianne was there, he wasn't, like, getting up to save her, even though he thought Love might kill her. But then when she goes to pick him up, she stabs him. There are goofy things like that happen in You all the time. I just don't think it's out of the show's, like, sense of self at all, and I don't think it's bad. I'm sure Hyperplot Bros, I'm sure the normies, if they were watching the show, would get crazy mad at that. But ignore that and just watch the RTTV reactions as they cheer as Joe gets laid, and it's kind of funny. It's like, guys, I don't know if that's the reaction we're supposed to be having. It was interesting, because I knew Marianne was going to be at least a side love interest because of how they had her dress immediately. Like, I think in the second episode, she's wearing, like, a see-through shirt where you can see her bra through the whole thing. It's like, clearly we're being drawn to look at her in that sort of way, and she's not like the librarian girl, and Joe has chemistry with her or whatever. So it's like, we've seen the show, we know where this is going. I thought that was kind of clever. But yeah, the part of the season is like Joe's, like, you actually Deep Vibes asked this question before about Joe's self-awareness. It seems like they play fast and loose with his self-awareness a little bit, and I think it's actually pretty clever, where sometimes he is, like, hyper self-aware of how he needs to stop doing this, but then he blames Love for everything when he's a complete hypocrite. But, like, we said it was nothing like The Sopranos and everything like that before, but that's like The Sopranos is like that the entire time, of just absolute, like, kind of acknowledgement of self-awareness, but as soon as the self-awareness becomes inconvenient to you, you just throw it away and blame everything on Love. Because there is, I think this is the first few episodes, the first 2 at least, is Joe being very, like, I want to get away from this bitch. And so he's blaming everything on her. He even has the line of, like, I just realized the thing wrong with my marriage is my fucking wife. And Love has that line, I think, in, like, the second last episode, so it's a cool little, like, the mindset Joe is in for the first 2 episodes, Love is sort of in for the last 2 episodes. Something had to happen with Love. She had to die or go to prison or something. I knew she had to be gone by the end of the 3rd season. I hadn't been spoiled that she wasn't coming back, but it's like, that's the natural progression of the story. So the whole time I was, like, just picking, because she kills a lot more people than Joe, I think, in this season at least. And she does go to kill him before he kills her. So it's an interesting, like, if you were to play a game of, like, who is worse, Joe or Love, it would be interesting. Especially when they, like, explain that she killed her first husband in this season too, which that was, it was said that he died in season 2, but they just introduced that in this season. It's all just, it'd be an interesting argument to have, I guess. Death fake aren't just in manga. Apparently so. Also, something I just thought about, Love showing Marianne who Joe really is like what Candace did to her, only this time Joe isn't accepted, and Marianne runs. This has got to be something that makes him realize he's the problem, right? With the only one to accept him being a psycho killer. The problem is you can't do a redemption arc with Joe. The show is, we were talking about BreadTube videos and hit piece articles. I'm sure there is a million hit piece articles about how you is inherently immoral because it positions you to root for the psychopath, serial killer, stalker, womanizer Joe. Like, you can't redeem him. You can't, like, in any way justify nearly anything he does. It's like you could, I just refuse to believe they have the balls to do it. Because there are multiple times throughout the whole show where it's looked like if you were going to do that, you would have to do it now. And they always don't do it. So, like him having hold on, I've gone off, my brain's gone off. Now I have to read what Deep Vibe said again to bring it all home. To show Joe that he's the problem. I don't think it's as simple as this, but it's the only way I think I can say it, is like he can never think he's the problem. Though he does at certain times, but he always comes back to the fact that like that's like the meme line, right? He believes that he will find his soulmate out there sometimes. It actually reminded me of the Chainsaw Man meme, which I think is a very poignant thing that Chainsaw Man does, where Denji, when he meets Reese, says like, "Help me, Makima. I think I'm falling in love with this girl. I just realized that I like girls who like me." And it's like this genius, like it's supposed to be Denji dumb, doesn't realize obvious thing. But just stating it out loud in that manner is sort of like genius of like, yeah, like you get, Nate used to talk about this all the time, which is funny, best guy ever. He used to talk about the trying to kill everybody's one-itis, which is when you're like madly in love with one girl and you don't even look at other girls because she's the only one for you. And he used to talk about how you got to get out of that mindset and go and date other girls. And then by the time the other girl realizes she'll want you and you won't want her. It was a big Nate talking point meme from like 3 years ago. It's kind of funny. But the Denji thing hitting on that of like, you think you're like obsessed with this one girl, not to the point of Joe, obviously, but you're like in love with this one girl until like one other girl flirts with you one time. And then you're like, oh, I just like girls that give me attention. And I feel like Joe is at least somewhat like that, where he doesn't realize that every time a girl is like slightly interested in him, he like falls for her immediately, or seems to, they even are self-aware about the mother issues thing in this season. It's interesting how the flashback stopped with him seeing his mother again and her just saying, like, sometimes you just need a fresh start or something, which implies that the mother is still alive somewhere. Now, originally, I had told the girl who I'd watched season 1 and 2 with that I was sure that the girl that he saw at the end of season 2 through the fence was going to end up being his mother, and it would be something like that. Thought that was a genius idea at the time. Again, he's in France, so there's no way that's what's going to happen in season 4. But it's just interesting where they've kept the mother thread out there a little bit. So I don't know if, like, his mother will be dying, he'll get a call or something, they'll find an old record, be like, Joe, your mother's dying, Lamau. Though they think Joe Goldberg is alive, dead at the end of season 3. At least the public does. So I don't know how you would do that, but, like, I don't know. Maybe that's a way to end the series, is him getting some sort of closure with his mother or something. I don't know. Anyway, Miller's linking a YouTube video. Has he found a You Hit Piece YouTube video, a BreadTube video, introducing... Oh, is there a new Pokemon thing that just came out? Oh, we will react to this afterwards. Don't go anywhere, chat. Don't go anywhere. I remember the guy from the Normies sticking up for Joe, which was hilarious. There is the RTTV does that too sometimes. There is the point, and it just kind of proves my meme thing about how I want to do a video about how women can't cheat in like live action dramas, where you sort of chart all the big series I've ever watched, and the girl, if she ever cheats, she is treated like the bad guy, but the guy can cheat all the time and nobody cares. People talk about that because season 1 is kind of supposed to be a bastardized modern love story of like the pretty girl and the pretty boy who meet in the big city, and it's where they live happily ever after. But instead, the dude is like this crazy stalker, hyper obsessive, hyper possessive, kills all his love rivals dude who thinks he's the last nice guy in New York. And the sort of bastardization of the modern woman, which is sort of this blonde, insecure, has terrible friends, relies on social media too much, thinks she's deeper than she is, kind of stupid, kind of obnoxious, cheats on her boyfriend type girl. So it's sort of supposed to be like, oh, these sort of like bastardized modern versions of a traditional love story, and it's supposed to be like, look at the commentary. It is clever. I sound like I'm throwing it away when I say that. And then obviously it ends with them killing each other. Lamau, love doesn't exist. I wonder if that is the point of the show, is sort of this attack on love as a concept or whatever, or soulmates. They even bring this up in season 3 a lot. Like, I think, what is her name? Cherry? Is that her name? Sherry, I think. Who is the black girl, mumfluencer girl. She even says, like, soulmates are bullshit or whatever, you choose your soulmate or something like that. I wonder if that is the conceit of the show, of sort of like an attack on love like that. They literally named the second girl Love, so it's like they're obviously commenting on it. I just haven't thought about it enough. Where are we going with that? I wonder if it's an attack on love, or the season 1 modern love story meme. I don't know. I was going somewhere with that too, but I forgot about that too. What was I saying? And the guys that was sticking up for Joe. It had something to do with sticking out with Joe. Oh, it was the cheating thing. Because Beck cheats in season 1, it's like some people are like, yeah, Joe, kill the cheating bitch, Lamau. Even though he's is insane. And obviously much worse than a cheater. People are very insecure about cheating generally. Obviously murder and all these fantastical violent things aren't going to happen in your real life, but cheating, I don't know what the likelihood is. Does the average person get cheated on in their lifetime? The answer might be closer to yes, especially more than like the average person is going to be murdered or be a murderer. So like these sort of things just resonate more. I used to this is another talking point for the for that video about why like the wife characters are hated so much in like The Sopranos and Mad Men and Breaking Bad and all these shows, is because the wife characters are usually like not as violent or terrible as the male leads, but they are annoying in sort of wivey girlfriend ways, which is much more relatable to the viewer, to the male viewer, of course. And that's why they dislike them. But yes, then there is, I think Pat from the Normies would always cheer Joe on and take his side, but he's kind of stupid in every reaction series. And the RTTV guys did sometimes, but most of the time they're just making fun of him for being like a simp. I don't think reaction channels are like looking at it through let's measure the moral weight of these individual decisions, which I'm forced to because I know BreadTube exists. I sometimes, and I don't even sometimes think this, I've said this before, but I think like we moralize shows too much in that regard. Like, I think that's especially a thing on the left, which generally just moralizing everything, which is technically good. Everything does have moral worth and could be morally checked. It's just like too far of like, I don't know. We don't have to get into all of this. But anyway. Well, the whole thing is the whole thing is like Joe's toxic idea of love, right? How he justifies protecting the women he's after. It's certainly part of it, but, like love is just like him, right? So it's like, she even dies saying we're perfect for each other or whatever, which is obviously true. Part of it is Joe just getting bored too. And he likes a new thing and things like that. I think it is closer to yes, which in turn fosters a lot of paranoia about cheating as well. I think the answer is yes. Yeah, probably. I don't think that's part of it. People do generally hate women more than men and apply different standards, but most people are more connected to feelings of being cheated on than murder/stalk, right? Yeah. Maybe Deep Vibe said that before I said that, but yeah. Also, I think it is a show people will inherently take it less seriously. There is a divide that we really need to talk about how art is not real, and we don't have to freak out about everything. I mean, yeah, internalized misogyny will definitely be a fact too. Yeah, but there is that, when I was scrolling through the thumbnails there, I did see one where it was like Guinevere Beck and Joe are both terrible people, and it was a girl in the thumbnail, so that was kind of interesting. I don't think it's just internalized misogyny. Women are very susceptible to be very negative on cheaters too. Miss Tear Fusion hating Vegeta because he kills people is the ultimate example of moralizing too much. That's completely different, alright? Dragon Ball is Dragon Ball. There are other examples, but yeah, there is a moralizing too much. I mean, the only reason why the left is the only one that does this is because conservatives don't know what morals are. But I'm sure that'll go over well. But there is sort of this sense of wanting to be the morally superior one of like, did you know that this show is bad? But yeah, it's just like, hold on. No, this is like a highlight of cringe. This is like a cringe compilation over here. We don't want to watch that. There are a million other things specifically to talk about. I think episode 2 might be like the best episode. I'm not sure. They're like them like freaking out in the rain where they're really at each other's throats and like love screaming, "Why don't you love me anymore?" is like really, really great. I think that's the same episode where Joe has the monologue of like, fuck love, I hate love, fuck love, which is really funny and cool. Try to throw scenes at me, Deep Vibes. I want to remember some scenes. Everything with, I forget her name somehow. Angler is their last name. The girl that's set up to seemingly be the girl of the season. Every scene with her is great. It kind of does leave you like sad when she dies because you just want to see her interact with people more. Trying to remember scenes from like later. A lot of the later scenes are obviously very plot focused. I mean, conservatives love... Oh, fuck! We're getting the go-home signal real quick. Conservatives love moralizing. They just moralize stuff that isn't... Yeah, they're just stupid as fuck. Like, they're fine with child brides, but they hate the idea of gays adopt children. I don't think most conservatives are right. Well, there is that one senator or whatever in America who was, like, a pedo that they voted in. So maybe I shouldn't be so quick to say that. Like, to use an example of Flock, my Flock is cool. Alright, I can't read this Flock comment. We actually legitimately have to end stream, like, right now. And we have to end for the YouTube video. So, that was our You Season 3 talking about You Season 3. I kind of want to talk about it in more detail sometime. Maybe I'll do a follow-up video. Maybe I'll end up doing a scripted video or something crazy. Generally, I think it was much better than anybody talks about it being. With that being said, check back here. It'll probably be on this channel if we talk about it again. Support links in the description below. Thanks.